A very happy morning to all my dear children. Welcome back to your computer class. Dear children, we were studying your chapter number 1, that is storage and memory. Today we are going to move to part 3 of this chapter. Dear children, today we will learn about secondary memory. As in our smartphones, when we have used the enough internal storage, okay, so we need a SD card for the storage capacity. Yes, dear children, in the same way, in computer, as primary memory is a volatile memory and it has a limited capacity. So we use a secondary memory for the storage. Now, as we know, primary is a volatile and has a limited capacity. It is important to have another form of memory that have larger storage capacity and from which data and programs are not lost when the computer is turned off. जिसमें से हमारा कुछ भी data lost नहीं होगा when the computer will turn off. Such type of memory is called secondary memory or external memory. You have to learn both the names. Such type of memory जब हम कंप्यूटर ऑफ करते हैं तभी भी हमारा डेटा लॉस नहीं होता है. That type of memory will be known as secondary memory or external memory. Secondary memory is where programs or data are stored for फ्यूचर रेफरेंसिंग. दैट मीन्स हम कभी भी उसको फ्यूचर में देख सकते हैं. इट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड ऑक्सिलरी मेमोरी. अनदर नेम यू कैन ऑल्सो अंडरलाइन एज वेल. इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम प्राइमरी मेमोरी एज इट इज नॉट डायरेक्टली accessible by the CPU and is a non-volatile. This type of memory is a non-volatile memory. Secondary or external storage devices have a much larger storage capacity. Now these type of memory have a larger storage capacity. What are the devices of the secondary memory? Such as hard disk, floppy disk, CD, DVD, pen drive and so on. Hard disk, floppy disk, CD, DVD, pen drive and so on. Dear children, you all are aware at this age what is a CD, what is a DVD and what is a pen drive. You just have to be aware of the floppy disk and the hard disk. Okay dear children, we will study about them one by one in detail in this chapter. The first one is the floppy disk. Until some years ago, the floppy disk was a very popular storage device. A floppy disk consists of magnetic disk in a square plastic case. I will show you the picture. These are the type of the floppy disk which are in the magnetic case. Then it can be used to store data and to transfer डेटा फ्रॉम वन कंप्यूटर टू अनदर. दैट मीन्स हम एक कंप्यूटर से दूसरे कंप्यूटर में ईजिली डेटा ट्रांसफ़र कर सकते हैं. फ्लॉपी डिस्क आर अवेलेबल इन 2 sizes. टू यूज अ फ्लॉपी डिस्क योर कंप्यूटर नीड्स टू हैव अ फ्लॉपी डिस्क ड्राइव. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. व्हेन वी वांट टू यूज द फ्लॉपी डिस्क आवर कंप्यूटर शुड हैव द फ्लॉपी डिस्क ड्राइव. इज इट क्लियर? Now, floppy disks are not used much because CDs and DVDs and pen drive hold more importance and they are very easy to handle. These type of floppy disks are not used nowadays because nowadays we are using CDs, DVDs, pen drives and so on. See dear children, the floppy disk has reduced over the years. The size has been reduced. Here is a brief history of the floppy disk. When the size became smaller, the storage capacity of the floppy disk increased steadily. That means जैसे जैसे floppy disk की size कम होती गई उसकी storage capacity बढ़ती गई. This is only for your information. That's it. In 1971, the floppy disk measured 8 inches. That means उसकी size जो थी वो 8 inches की थी. In 1976, the 5.25 inch floppy disk was introduced. It could hold the storage of 1.2 MB. In 1980, the 3.5-inch floppy disk was introduced. The storage was 1.44 MB. Next, hard disk. Now what is hard disk? Hard disk is a part of a unit called hard disk drive. It is a part of a unit which is called hard disk drive. In the same way, dear children, when we want to run the hard disk, we should have the hard disk drive in our computer. It is capable of storing a larger amount of data. Hard disk or hard disk drives come in different storage capacities. Now they all come in different storage capacities such as 500 GB, 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte and 5 terabyte. These all are the storage capacities which the hard disk has. A hard disk is made up of a collection of disks known as platters. See, this is a platter. Okay, it is made up of a collection of disks known as platter. The platters are placed one below the other. They are being placed one below the other. They are coated with the magnetic material. Each platter contains a number of invisible circles, all having the same center called tracks. See, dear children, they are being divided into the circle in the form of tracks. They are called tracks. Okay, and then they are further divided into sectors. It is highlighted in blue. The green color shows the tracks and the orange color shows the sectors. Clear? Data is recorded on these tracks in form of tiny magnetic spots. The presence of a magnetic spots represent 1 and the absence represent bit 0. That means जब हम इसके ट्रैक पे हमारा कुछ भी स्टोरेज होगा, that will be represented in tiny magnetic spot. Okay, and if there is a storage on that particular track, it will be represented by bit 1, and if there is no storage, it will be represented by bit 0. Understood? Next, external hard disk. An external hard disk is a portable storage device that can be connected to the computer through a USB or FireWire connection. Why it is known as external storage device? Because हम इस hard disk को कहीं पे भी carry कर सकते हैं and we can use this hard disk in any of the computer while we are traveling as well. Now this hard disk is being connected with USB or FireWire connection. It can store a large amount of data. You can connect the hard disk to your computer, transfer your data and carry the hard disk anywhere with you, as I have earlier explained you. Next, CD, that is a compact disc. You have to learn the full form. You are all aware of what is a CD. A CD is another commonly used storage device. It is another commonly used storage devices. We store movies, pictures in CD. It also contains tracks and sectors on its surface. A CD can store up to 700 MB data. This you have to learn. कि CD में कितनी storage capacity होती है? Up to 700 MB. A CD is also called CD-ROM, that is compact disc read-only memory. You have to learn the other name as well. Computers can read the data present in a CD-ROM but cannot write new data onto it. That means जितना भी CD में data है हम read कर सकते हैं but हम उस पर कुछ भी और changes नहीं कर सकते हैं. The following are the two types of CD, that is CDR and CDRW. The full form is compact disc recordable and compact disc rewritable. Data once written onto it cannot be erased, it can only be read. That means CDR में हम data सिर्फ read कर सकते हैं, हम वापस कुछ भी erase नहीं कर सकते हैं. Next, CDR, that is compact disc rewritable. This is a special type of CD. Data written onto it can be erased to write or record new data several times. It is called an erasable CD. Understood the difference? CDRW में हम लोग डेटा फिर से लिख सकते हैं, erase कर सकते हैं and we can record as well. This type of CD is known as erasable CD. Clear? To use a CD-ROM, a device called CD-ROM drive is needed. That means CD को use करने के लिए we should always have CD-ROM device in our computer. Dear children, let's see the worksheet. The next part of this chapter we will do in our next video lesson. Now this is a worksheet based on chapter 1 part 3. Here are some of the fill in the blanks given to you. The first one, to use a floppy disk, your computer needs to have a dash. हमको जब floppy disk use करनी होती है, so what should our computer must have? A hard disk is a part of a unit called a hard disk drive. It is a part of a unit called the hard disk drive. The very first line we learnt. A hard disk is made up of a collection of disks known as dash. The presence of the magnetic spot represent the bit 1. जब भी हमारा कुछ डेटा होता है उस पे it will be represented by bit 1. A CD is also called a dash. You have to write the other name. Dash and dash are the two types of the compact disc. The two types which we learned. That was CDR and CDRW. Last one. Dash is an example of secondary memory. Any one example you can write, dear children. Dear children, I hope you are clear with this part of the video lesson. We will meet next time with something more interesting in this chapter. Till then, bye-bye. God bless you all.